Maestro was directed by Bradley Cooper, written by Bradley Cooper and Josh Singer, and it stars Bradley Cooper and Carey Mulligan and a bunch of other talented actors and actresses like Maya Hawke, who you might know from Stranger Things Season 4. Maestro is a love story that chronicles the lifelong relationship of conductor-composer Leonard Bernstein and actress Felicia Montealegre con Bernstein. Okay, so going into this film, I knew nothing about it. I only saw in the cover art that it starred Bradley Cooper, and that's it. I didn't know if it was a fictional or non-fictional work. Now, obviously, if you know a little bit about the film, you know that it is based off Leonard Bernstein's story. He's an American composer, world renowned. His most famous work is that of the compositions of the West Side Story film. If you've seen the movie, you know it has very beautiful music behind it and a very nice soundtrack. Bradley Cooper, he's done amazing work in Silver Linings Playbook, in A Star is Born. He's directed A Star is Born. He directed this film. Two very different films, two very different styles, and I would say characters. I think he's really showing his versatility as a director and the ability to direct amazing performances. Lady Gaga was nominated for A Star is Born. He was nominated for A Star is Born, I believe. And in this film, you have Carey Mulligan, who's going to be nominated for the Best Actress for sure. And he might as well be nominated. He's already for the Golden Globes. He's up and running for that. It wouldn't be a surprise if he's up and running for the Oscar. And Carey Mulligan is my pick for Best Actress win. She did amazing in this film. She plays three different characters. I was speaking to my family about this earlier, where it wasn't just a performance of one character, Felicia Montalegre, who's a real, obviously, this is based on a true story. She's a real actress. She was Leonard Bernstein's wife, but, she plays a very young woman who is an aspiring actress. She plays the woman who's already an accomplished actress, so she carries a more professional demeanor. And then she also plays, if you know about Felicia Montalegre's death, her cause of death was cancer. Her performance was to play this sick woman. She had cancer. And you see all of this and you say, wow, the performance was great. It demanded a lot of her. And Bradley Cooper did an amazing job of letting the performances breathe and giving them time and letting the camera sit still. And I would argue maybe it sat still for too long. There were scenes that lasted too long. There were scenes that were not needed, whole montages that I believe could have cut the runtime of the movie shorter. But technically, it was brilliant. I think cinematography was amazing. When it's in the past scenes, it's in black and white. The aspect ratio is different. Even the sound editing does this thing where the dialogue sounds like that of an 80s or 70s film. And then once it goes to the present, the dialogue sounds like ones of today's films. The aspect ratio changes again, and the camera is allowed to have fun and liberty. And you could tell that whoever was the cinematographer, you know what? I'm going to look it up right now. He or she deserves the credit. So the director of photography was Matthew Libatic. I hope I said that right. Matthew Libatic. I commend the cinematography. It was playful yet crisp. There's a specific bird's eye view scene in the beginning of the film that transitions Leonard Bernstein and Felicia Montalegre's character. The camera's above them and it crosses over to a different room. And it's a completely different setting. Same characters. It's Leonard Bernstein, Felicia Montalegre, but they're wearing a different costumes. It's a different time and place. And it was just so eloquently done. That transition, changing of setting, changing of time. It was really nice. It was crisp. I wouldn't be surprised if cinematography gets nominated and even wins. Sound editing, again, was really amazing. The soundtrack, if you look at the end of the film, it's going to say that the film score was made by Leonard Bernstein. Now, this is because the whole soundtrack is a collection of his own work, obviously before he passed away. And while I do think it was a creative decision and it was risky, I don't think it always played to the film's strengths. I feel like there was a specific scene and a specific montage where it used Leonard Bernstein's work. It didn't play to the tone of the film or to the tone of the moment. Okay, Bradley Cooper. A lot of people are criticizing his performance in here. They're saying it's a little bit over the top. I don't see that really. I guess I can't tell if he's giving an over the top performance or if it's genuine to Leonard Bernstein's character because I know nothing of him. I haven't seen anything of him on television, his previous interviews. So if he's being genuine and if Leonard Bernstein is really like this, I understand all the little mannerisms, all of I mean, this guy's a strong personality. You get it from the screen. One of the loudest voices in the room. I think Bradley Cooper gave a great performance. It was very different from all the other performances he had done. And the same thing as Carey Mulligan. He plays this very young man to an elder professor. There's a thing that he does where he changes the way he smiles. It's very interesting how he does his slight contortions of his face. And I guess I was kind of in awe of all the things I had not seen Bradley Cooper do that he did do in this film, acting wise. He's already nominated for a Golden Globe. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets nominated for an Oscar. I don't think he will win. I think there's too much strong competition from Cillian Murphy and from Zac Efron's part in The Iron Claw. Maya Hawke's performance was really outstanding for the little amount of time she was given. What she was in this film for about, I would say, half of it. She's given so much more to do here than, say, Stranger Things season 3 and season 4. A much more complex character. She's very much forced to balance being involved in her mom's life and being involved in her father's life and in the broken family that she grew into. Very interesting character. She does play the daughter of Leonard Bernstein and Felicia Montalegre. And while I'm a big fan of the technicality and the performances, I guess I have to say, in a way, the performances were more interesting than the characters themselves. This story is a tragedy in a sense. His main focal point is his love life with Felicia Montalegre and all the complications that went into that. It was a lot of complications. And in a way, it was a tragedy. You feel the most empathy for Felicia Montalegre's character because, to be honest, the director does something where he's not necessarily telling us we should be rooting for Leonard Bernstein. I put it this way. In the beginning of the film, there's this exercise Felicia Montalegre's character asks Leonard Bernstein to do when they're building up their romance, right? They're in a field where you could have a beautiful picnic and she asks him to sit down. And this is a guy who is always like, I guess, fidgety, has some sort of ADHD where he can't sit still. So her asking him to do this is apparently a big task. He does. They sit back to back. She tells him, please sit back to back to me. And she's still looking up at the sky, enjoying the environment, eyes closed, relaxed. And he's kind of fidgeting, rocking his back, not able to. And it's played as a reprise, this exercise. They do it again at the end of the film. But the exercise is made to show how dependable Leonard Bernstein wasn't. She could never put her weight on him, and his lack of commitment to one thing definitely led to his broken family. So, in that sense, the film is a tragedy. A common theme in the film, and in many other films that have to do with great artists and their personal life, like Tar, which is a great film, it's this question about to what extent should the work of an artist be separated from their personal life. And I think this movie speaks about how talent can get you so far, and to put it in a way an artist handles their work is the way that they'll handle their personal life and their relationships. There's this thing Leonard Bernstein says in the beginning of the film. He's talking about not wanting to be limited to one field of work or to one thing. He wants to be wearing many hats and he wants to be known for that. Later on in the film, he's critiquing that same decision where his quality of work is great, but his quantity is not. And that's because you spread yourself so thin to where the impact that you want might be less than what you actually make it. My gripes with this film were that there were scenes that lasted too long. I believe scenes that didn't need to be there. I wish that the weight and the romance in the films were more fleshed out. And that way, when there's moments of tension, which there are some, or moments of great release of emotion, that the audience really feels a catharsis. My rating for this film is a B minus. It is rated R. It has tame, strong language for a rated R film. I just checked in IMDb. It has like 7 curse words. There's no sex, but there are a couple of opposite and same sex kissing scenes. There is partial nudity, but nothing worse than you've seen in a PG-13 film. And there is drug use as well as a brief party scene. So be aware of that. This film is out on Netflix if you choose to watch it. Thank you so much for watching this video and this review. If you like this video or videos like these, please subscribe, leave a like, tell me what you thought about the film if you've seen it. Thank you for listening, and I will be reviewing more shows and movies soon. Bye bye.